Welcome to our 8th Mussar webinar for this year. The topic is gratitude, Hakarat Hatov. I'm going to start off the way I usually start every webinar, and that's with our agenda. The first thing on it is, again, our inspirational Facebook group, which I encourage you to follow and to be part of. I'll send out the link in the follow-up email. And also, if you're on Instagram, you might like to follow Chai Mitzvah during the month of ER, which is from now until mid-May. The Chai Mitzvah Teen Program is posting their social action projects under the hashtag Chai Mitzvah Mitzvah, and you might like to check that out as well. Okay, here are our themes. One of the Mussar terms for gratitude is Hakarat Hatov, literally noticing or recognizing the good. When we're sensitive enough to notice that a good deed is being done on our behalf, we will ideally store that memory, come to understand that we are part of a greater web of care and concern, and in response, pay the favor forward, either directly to the bestower of the kindness or to others in their honor. So as you can see, memory, a sense of gratitude, and loving kindness are interconnected midot. While there are other aspects of gratitude, this greater web of care and concern is the focus of this session. The Chai Mitzvah standard curriculum also has a gratitude topic, which is slightly different, has a more personal focus. The focus of this lesson is more about connecting to others. So let's begin with two biblical passages about Joseph in Egypt. Well-known biblical passages that will lead us to a larger conversation about Hakarat Hatov. The first text is from Genesis. Here's some background. Joseph is falsely imprisoned in Egypt, but offers his skill in dream interpretation to two fellow prisoners, Pharaoh's former cupbearer and the chief baker. Here's the text. Then the chief cupbearer told his dream to Joseph. Joseph said to him, "In 3 days Pharaoh will pardon you and restore you to your post. But think of me when all is well with you again, and do me the kindness of mentioning me to Pharaoh so as to free me from this place." On the 3rd day, his birthday, Pharaoh made a banquet for all his officials. He restored the chief cupbearer to his cupbearing, and he placed the cup in Pharaoh's hand. But the chief baker he impaled, just as Joseph had interpreted to them. Yet the chief cupbearer did not think of Joseph. He forgot him. This story is on a timeless theme and might lead to a discussion of times in your participants' lives where they've been asked to do a good deed for someone, or when they've asked someone to help them out. Discuss the situations in which they've either forgotten to repay the favor or have been the one forgotten. What can you learn from Joseph and the cupbearer about the relevance and significance of this midah in our own lives? Discuss situations and also think about this other facet. To whom in their own lives do your group members owe a debt of gratitude? How have they or how might they express it? This is a good opening for a social action project if your group members are looking for one. It's also a nice time to think about family or friends and situations that they've been in and how they can go forward in a positive and thankful way. Let's look at the second text, which is also it's from Exodus. It's also about Egypt. In these passages, the first of the 2 plagues are brought upon Egypt. And the Eternal said to Moses, "Say to Aaron, take your rod and stretch out your hand over the waters of Egypt, over their rivers, over their streams, and over their pools, and over their ponds of water, that they may become blood." And the Eternal said to Moses, "Say to Aaron, stretch forth your hand with your rod over the rivers, over the canals, and over the pools, and cause the frogs to come upon the land of Egypt." And Aaron stretched out his hand over the waters of Egypt. This is really interesting. These are the only 2 plagues brought upon the Egyptians by Aaron instead of Moses. There's a reason for this, which you may or may not already know. But here's a hint to help figure it out. Let's look back at the themes for this lesson. When we're sensitive enough to notice that a good deed has been done on our behalf, we will ideally store the memory, come to understand that we're part of a greater web of care and concern, and in response, pay the favor forward, either directly to the bestower of the kindness or to others in their honor. Now, how does that apply here? Well, here's a hint. Hakarat HaTov can extend even to inanimate objects, not just to people. Now, it's probably pretty easy to figure it out. According to Rashi, as well as Midrash Exodus Rabbah, the plagues of blood and frogs were brought through Aaron because Moses owed his life when he was a baby in the basket to the river. Moses owed a debt of gratitude to the river for saving him as an infant, and therefore he could not personally, and God also would not allow him to, wreak the 2 plagues of blood and frogs upon it. Beside the river, think about there's anyone or anything else that Moses might owe a debt of gratitude. And we can expand this out. For what inanimate objects in your own life do you have or might you cultivate a Hakarat HaTov practice? What might this practice be? For example, blessings for food, or Berchot HaNehanin for all sorts of things, blessings of appreciation, like good smells, rainbows, intelligence. Your group must have some fun with this idea too. Let's look at the third text now. This is from Bachya ibn Pekuda, who was a Jewish philosopher and a rabbi who lived in Zaragoza, El Andalus, which is now Spain, during the first half of the 11th century. He is often referred to as Rabbeinu Bachya. Ibn Pekuda said in the introduction to Duties of the Heart, which is where this text can be found, that he wished to fill a great need in Jewish literature. He felt that neither the rabbis of the Talmud nor subsequent rabbis adequately brought all the ethical teachings of Judaism into a coherent system. Ibn Pekuda felt that many Jews paid attention to the outward observance of Jewish law, the duties performed by parts of the body, chovot ha'evarim, without regard to the inner ideas or sentiments, the duties of the heart, chovot halev. He also felt that many people disregarded all duties incumbent upon them, whether outward observances or inner moral obligations. So as we read, let's think about each of the 3 obstacles to gratitude that Ibn Pekuda cites. And you can see I put them in another color to help us focus. Even though God is good to all of creation without exception, as the verse says, God is good to all. Nonetheless, most people are unable to recognize that or to understand how valuable that is. There are 3 reasons why. First, because they are too absorbed in worldly things and the enjoyment of them, and they are too involved in pursuing physical pleasures that can never be gratified. The second reason is that they grow up with a plethora of unending God-given favors, which they grew used to, and they came to see them as typical permanent features of their lives, and they overlook their obligation to be grateful. The third reason is based on the fact that people suffer all sorts of travails in this world and are afflicted with either bodily or monetarily, and because of this, it's hard for them to be grateful. When has each of these obstacles been your experience, or maybe all 3? Which do you think is the most difficult to overcome? That could be an interesting discussion for your participants as well. And if you're going through a difficult time right now, reflect on your ability to feel gratitude amidst the sorrow or pain. What is the quality of the gratitude that you're able to experience? And you can compare that to how you feel in other times. Duties of the Heart is often cited as the earliest Mussar work. As we said earlier, Ibn Pekuda was concerned that while 613 mitzvot of duties of the body were legally mandated, duties of the heart, matters of character and one's devotional relationship with God, were less valued. Do you consider gratitude a Jewish mandate? Should it be a mitzvah, as are some of the ritual commandments? If you do think so, which of the other midot that you've studied should carry the weight of Jewish law? Another way to look at it is that the physical laws will help regulate the heart. For example, honoring your father and mother, loving your parents cannot be mandated, but caring for them in old age or treating them with respect as a child and as an adult can be mandated, because those actions are not emotions. So the rabbis suggest that performing these obligations will help shape the emotions within us. So those are 2 different ways of looking at the same thing, and you can see which one you agree with. Let's look at the next text. This is a very popular and often recited blessing. It's going to be interesting to analyze it through the lens of gratitude. So let's take a look. For what gratitude is this blessing expressed? What does the act of blessing do for the person who offers it? What blessings do you regularly recite? This is where we start to think about it. How might you infuse them with a greater sense of gratitude? What acts in your life generally go unacknowledged? Consider writing your own blessings for otherwise unacknowledged things. For example, exercise, taking a vitamin, speaking with a friend, errands, in order to imbue them with a greater sense of holiness and gratitude. You might know that there are things called blessings of appreciation, which give thanks for all sorts of things, from fragrant smells to people with great intellect, one blessing for Jewish knowledge, one for secular knowledge. I'll send a link to more information on these also in the follow-up email. Okay, we've looked at the 4 texts. Let's look at the practices that help us to develop this midah. The first one is a very nice suggestion. A powerful way to grow your ability to feel grateful is to keep a journal. Before you go to sleep each night, think about the day that has passed and who or what enriched your day in some way. Jot down the things as well as the names of those people to whom you owe a debt of gratitude. Friends, teachers, family members, salespeople, custodians, others. The next day, be sure to thank at least one of the people on your list. Try out various ways of expressing your gratitude. A verbal thank you, a handwritten note, email or Facebook post, a small gift, an offer to help them in some way, a donation in their honor, or anything else you can think of. Another way to keep a gratitude journal is to take one photograph each day of something for which you are grateful, and then turn the photos into a collage or review them at the end of each week as you enter Shabbat. I bet if you looked on your phone right now, you could find some things that you're actually feeling gratitude about. This is very interesting. It's wonderful to wake up one's body by chanting. Moda ani lefanecha is the prayer said each morning when we first wake up, because our soul has been returned to us for a new day. There are many different melodies for this prayer that you may wish to use in your practice. In fact, Rabbi Shefa Gold has composed 36 different melodies that you can access on an app entitled Flavors of Gratefulness. The app offers an opportunity for reflection and journaling about each melody. This is very fun. This practice is called the complaint fast, not about speed, it's about not eating. Because gratitude is a central practice in Judaism, the tradition deems those who complain incessantly to be sinners. Think about the Israelites when they left Egypt and complained for 40 years in the desert. What do you tend to complain about? What would it take to refrain from complaining and focus on the positive? A complaint fast, called Tani's Kretschkin in Yiddish, is an actual thing. Here's one way to practice it. Stop complaining for 24 hours or more. If you accidentally complain, you must donate money to a tzedakah or balance out the complaint with a comment, a call, or a letter of praise about someone or something else. Try this. It's not as easy as it sounds. And here's our 4th slide about practices. The Jewish tradition is rich in blessings that express gratitude. Practice Thanksgiving or gratitude prayers in appropriate locations. Place them around your home. Morning blessings on the bedstand, food blessings in the kitchen or dining room. The Asher Yatzer prayer, which offers gratitude for the fact that our body and our organs function properly near the bathroom. I can also send out a link to the text of that prayer, because it's a little harder to find. The Israeli composer Uzi Hitman wrote a song, Todah, that may inspire you to write your own thank you poem. You can hear it and see the words in Hebrew at this link. I'll read you the words in English. Thanks for all you made. Thanks for all you gave me. Insight and understanding, a friend or two, for all that I have in the world, a flowing song and a forgiving heart. Because of all this, I go on. Thanks for all you made. Thanks for all you gave me. A child's laughter, blue skies, a piece of land and a warm home, a place to sit, loving friends. Because of all of this, I go on. Thanks for all you made. Thanks for all you gave me. A day of happiness, honesty, and integrity. A sad day that is gone. The victory of 2,000 years and the white wings of peace. Because of all this, I go on. This song is also popular in Greek and Polish versions, which shows that this sentiment is universal. The idea that gratitude makes us able to keep going is important to our practice. And now some links to additional information. Here's a fun fact. The word Yehudim, or Jews in Hebrew, is derived from that other word for gratitude, hoda'ah. In Genesis 29:35, we read that Leah conceived again and bore a son and declared, "This time I will thank," or odeh, the Eternal. Therefore she named him Yehuda. Leah becomes a model of gratitude for us because she went on to name her other sons with words showing her gratitude. For instance, God, Gad, was named for what luck, Asher for what fortune, and Zebulun for choice gift. Another interesting link is cinema gratitude. Gratitude is a major theme for the following films, which you may want to watch with your participants and discuss. Pay It Forward, It Could Happen to You, and Forrest Gump. And these are some great supplemental materials. The Power of Casual Gratitude by Julie Beck. She develops a theory of the power of weaving gratitude talk into your speech, not taking simple kindness for granted, and replacing thank you with I'm sorry. The next one is an Eli talk by Rabbi Abby Sosland, and it speaks about shameless Judaism as a path to happiness. What that means is that shame plays a defining role in our human experience, and that its absence is one of the first things mentioned about Adam and Eve in Gan Eden. Rabbi Abby Sosland walks us through her own personal journey with shame and the powerful instances when this emotion appears in our tradition in Torah and liturgy. Her shame was that she wasn't married until she was older, and she felt very ashamed about this. And how she dealt with it and overcame it is really interesting. It's a great Eli talk. And of course, she had no reason to feel ashamed about this, but she did, and she understood that. Rabbi Sosland makes a case for dropping the feelings of shame in the situations where it doesn't serve us, opening up space for gratitude, action, and being there for other people. She's a great speaker. She really is on target. I really think you'd enjoy watching this. She's also the spiritual advisor at the Schechter in Westchester, the high school, where she teaches Talmud, Bible, philosophy, and prayer. And she teaches adults in all sorts of settings, from a women's lunch and learn group to Hadassah of Westchester. And she received her rabbinic ordination from JTS. And she's also an assistant rabbi at the Artist Synagogue in New York, the Town and Village Synagogue. So I think you'd really find this to be interesting. Then the third one is a TED Talk by Professor Sean Acker, who explains how the lens through which we see the world shapes our reality. 90% of our happiness is grounded in hard facts, not in hard facts, but in how we perceive our lives. This is also a really nice TED Talk, really interesting. He's pretty funny, and I think you'd enjoy watching this also. Now look at the back cover of our books. Each source book includes questions on the back to help us focus our participants on their independent projects. At the end of the session, take a couple of minutes to look at the questions on the back cover and have each participant answer them, either in writing or share as a group, whichever works for you. The first question is, for which of your independent projects do you feel most grateful and why? And the second is, can you express your gratitude through any of your independent projects and explain? And if you have people who are looking for a project, looking at who they feel gratitude towards is a very good way to get them to focus on a project. So thank you very much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed the webinar, and our next one will be in about a month. Okay, thanks. Bye.